Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. My name is MJ. Welcome to According to MJ. And we are continuing our recap and reaction of the Darrell Brooks trial, or the state of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks Jr. Believe we are on day 16. And if I had to summarize today in just a few words, I would just say give him a bottle, give him a blankie, give him a bath, rub him down with some Johnson's baby lotion. This man is so immature. He's very, very immature. He's so emotionally stunted. He's really going out sad, in my opinion. But today, for the most part, I noticed that it seemed like the day started out like he started out pretty mild mannered. But as the day progressed, put it this way, once Judge Darrell denied his request, then he just got so irate. He's like a little kid when he doesn't get his way, then he throws a tantrum. So he started pretty early, I say around 12, 13 minutes in. He was advising the court about there was a recall with the vehicle he was driving the night of the incident. I think it's called the Ford Escape, red Ford Escape. There was a recall, and basically the defense, well, not the defense, the state was like, there are no issues with that vehicle. It's pretty much like speculation at this point. So that was pretty interesting. But I'll show you briefly that part. Like I said, it was pretty early on. So let's take a look at that.
On that vehicle. And I believe that a Brady claim should be visited because there were, in fact, recalls on that vehicle. In fact, there were recalls on the Ford Escape models from 2008 through 2010 in regards to the throttle body malfunctioning and causing the vehicles to accelerate and not being able to be stopped. There is a class action lawsuit where the Ford company were sued because of this, and those vehicles models from the year 2008 through 2010 were recalled. And that is very important information in regards to the vehicle in question being a Ford Escape 2010.
Okay, again, here he's trying to say that, the Ford, his mother's car rather, was recalled, and that he did ask for the case to be dismissed, which, even if, I guess, I'm not a legal professional, but I would imagine even if there was an issue with the vehicle that, it needed to be recalled. I know, you normally get things in the mail when your car is recalled. I've gotten that before. You take it to the dealership and they address the issue, and that's that. Like, it's pretty simple. But even if that occurred, he still took 6 lives. He still injured over 60 people. So that's not going to take away from what occurred. So I just don't get this guy at all. Let's continue.
This information is very easily obtained just by pulling it up, and you'll see a class action lawsuit. Obviously, if it's a class action lawsuit, then it's pretty easy to.
So what's your request, sir?
Uh, my request is to find out if Officer Schultz knew, to find out if the prosecution knew that there was a recall on those vehicles.
And you would think, since this occurred last November, we almost it's almost a year later. You would think this is something that his defense team, well, his defense team would have thought of, looked into early on while building a case, knowing that this was going to trial, knowing that you weren't just going to take a plea deal, that you're just going to go to trial, that this would be something that they would have addressed already. So essentially, this is like null and void. It's not really an issue for him.
And in light of the fact that these vehicles were recalled because of this malfunctioning throttle body for I believe it's counts 1 through 73 to be dismissed.
Yeah, so he's essentially asking for all of his counts to be dismissed because of the recall with the Ford Escape, which seems like asinine, right? It seems ridiculous.
Hey,
I love the ads. Okay, let's see what's going on.
All right, what's the response from the state defendant?
Thank you, Your Honor. As Trooper Schultz testified,
Okay, and before I continue with that, thanks for watching. I did write some notes here, but overall, my thoughts on today was just that he was just so defiant. He was really acting like a big child today, and we're going to look at some of those highlights, which I love this Law and Crime Network. They do a good job of capturing like the most outrageous moments or pertinent moments that occur. So I know there's a lot of channels streaming this, but check this out. I really enjoy this channel. But yeah, he just was really irate today. He was just off his rocker today. And I'm not surprised his mother did not show up because in my mind, it's like it's not going to add any value, at least not to be on the witness stand. Because what can she say? I think it would literally turn into like a Tyler Perry film, like Cicely Tyson, oh my baby, something like that. I don't think she would help him at all. And, she knows who her son is. So I definitely get why she did not come this morning.
during his examination, consistent with our research, there are no active recalls listed for the Ford Escape. As Trooper Inspector Schultz noted during his testimony, that Ford listed an extended warranty for the throttle body on the Escape. The warranty was extended to 10 years of age and 150,000 miles. The Escape is more than 10 years old and has more than 150,000 miles. Also, he noted specifically in his report that he did not note any defect in the throttle body as previously described in this report. There was no recall in the throttle body. NHTSA did do an investigation into allegedly defective Ford throttle bodies, which would have impacted this year.
And I'm just going to fast forward through because she's just explaining basically what occurred.
Through 2010. Now, in all fairness, Your Honor, that's why I was asking for a Brady claim on this. Seeing as how when vehicles are purchased from the manufacturer, they're still sold as is. There would be no way to know that there's anything malfunctioning with the vehicle until it actually happens. And seeing this a class action lawsuit, no one would sue the Ford company if there weren't malfunctioning vehicles. There would be no class action lawsuit if these vehicles were not malfunctioning. And I believe with that, like I said, the information is easily obtainable. I should have the information in the mailroom right now that you can readily view this information about the class action lawsuit, about the recall on it.
And he's really grasping for straws at this point because, again, that doesn't change what occurred. And it doesn't apply because if it did apply, his mother would have gotten a notice in the mail from Ford telling her to go to her local dealership and get the issue addressed. And the car is like over 10 years old. So if it was a part of that class action lawsuit, I'm sure it has been addressed by now. I would assume,
It wasn't just the 2010 model in question. It was 2008 through 2010.
And again, my fast forward.
The information about the malfunctioning pertains strictly to the throttle body.
Let me address your claim, sir. So, not trying to cut you off, I don't need the specifics about a class action because as it relates to this case, the fact that there's a class action would not mean there's a Brady violation by the state. In fact, you even indicate it was readily known and something you were able to find out. I'd further note that you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector regarding his mechanical inspection. It's not new information. And more importantly, as it relates to.
Okay, and I had to Google that Brady violation, and it says I'm not a legal professional. I'm just really interested in this stuff. It says a Brady violation occurs when the government fails to disclose evidence materially favorable to the accused. So he's trying to say that the state knew that this vehicle was recalled, right? And that they should throw out charges. I think you said 1 through 73 or 1 through 74, something to that effect. And she's going to explain why that should not be. But his meltdown after this, like, again, this is the beginning of the morning. They start 8:30, I think, Central Time. So this is early in the morning. Remember, it's just 21 minutes in. And when she tells him no, y'all just need to see how he behaves. So.
This particular vehicle, based upon the testimony of Inspector Schultz, it's speculative as to whether this vehicle would be impacted, number one, by the class action, and number two, any throttle body problems. Because again, there was a full inspection. That report was provided to you. He testified on direct examination about there being no active recalls. And more importantly, he testified about what impact the throttle body would have and what he would expect to see if there were any issues with it. I am aware that the ICF, I did receive an email, it's one page with what you said. I have to turn my head, I gotta figure out how to flip it. So give me a second.
Okay. And just for the record, Your Honor.
Hold on, let me finish my record, okay? So I'm gonna turn, because it's the only way I can read it. It says, your ICF says the state's expert witness who did the inspection on the vehicle in this incident needs to be recalled no later than Wednesday. I just learned of some information that is extremely vital. I understand the information that you're providing me, but again, you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine this witness. This information was apparently well known. I'd also note the vehicle's registered to your mother. And from my understanding of recalls, I think what is common knowledge is that a registered owner would receive information regarding the recalls and what to do. And presumably she would have provided that information to anyone operating that vehicle or taking care of it. We have none of that information before us by way of fact or even an offer of proof that even she received that information and did nothing with it, or whether anyone else who operated that did anything with it or not. The bottom line is there is absolutely no Brady violation by the state. This is not the type of information they would have been required to turn over. And from my understanding and review of Exhibit 83, what's important to this case is that the mechanical inspection specifically looked at that issue nonetheless and found that as to this particular vehicle, there were no issues with that would have impacted the mechanical function during the incident in question. I'll accept the state's offer of proof as to what would have been the issues based upon the information provided. And again, without anything further from you by way of your offer of proof, I can't make a finding, number one, that there's a Brady violation, and number two, that the information you seek to cross-examine him on would have any impact whatsoever. So I'll deny the request to dismiss the case, and I'll deny the request to recall this witness. Hold on. Let me have the state just make their statement. I'll give you the last word on it. Go ahead.
The Inspector Schultz's mechanical inspection report was provided to the defense on April 29th, 2022. I noted that when the defendant was cross-examining Inspector Schultz, He did have the report in front of him and was asking questions directly related to information contained in that report.
Yeah, that's weird that he didn't address that. Having that report, like, why wait till now to address this? I guess because he's so stubborn. He acts like a little kid.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
When you spoke of the owner of the vehicle, that's who gave me the information. My mother gave me the information of this. I had no knowledge until she told me. And that's how I came into the information. And she was the one that said, I'm going to send you all the information that you need so you can present it to the court. So I didn't.
And that's why I say his mother is an enabler. So she's just trying to help him find anything to help his defense. Why would she think that would help him in any way? When I wonder how long she's owned this car. Like, she is definitely an enabler. It's not her fault, of course. She didn't take the actions. He's the one that was driving the car, but it's like she just helps him out a whole lot.
I understand that, sir, but your request is not timely. So you have had this information for quite some time, either through counsel.
I did not have it for quite some time.
Let me make my record. Either through counsel.
It was just told to me.
That's not what I'm saying. You've had the information about this report for quite some time, either through prior counsel or through all of the discovery that was turned over to you when you took over your representation of your own case. The fact that you have now learned this, it's a little bit too late. And I understand that may seem fair to you, but when I consider the information that you're providing to me, it's speculative on your part as to whether there's any impact on this particular vehicle because of the inspection that was done. And you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector about information that was readily obtainable and researchable by you prior to the time that you cross-examined this witness.
It was not really readily available for me to expect at the time. I don't have access to the internet. So how would I be able to?
Mr. Brooks, you're telling me your mother had that information.
No,
so,
I'm telling you, she just told me this information.
So his mother is still enabling him. She just told him about this information regarding the car.
I have the phone calls to prove it.
I understand that. I'm denying the request, sir.
And I would like a.
So that's my decision.
I object to that, Your Honor.
I understand. I've made my decision. I expect that you respect the decision, at least as we're not going to debate it further.
Yes.
I now have the ICF, the one from the state provided to the state. Madam Clerk.
And this is when he starts to melt down because he's not getting his way. I'm sure you all have noticed by now, whenever she denies something or tells him no, that he starts to behave just erratically, rude, disrespectful. He shuts down like a little kid.
I just gave that to you. All right, so
I respectfully object, Your Honor, and request the legal reconsideration of your ruling, Your Honor.
It's denied. The request for reconsideration is denied. There's no legal basis for me to do that
I
at this point.
respectfully reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we need to keep going.
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling, Your Honor?
Hey guys, welcome to Forward. We're a new type of doctor's office that's providing preventative prime.
I provided an oral ruling today. The record stands, sir.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written
So this is where it starts.
judicial finding of facts and conclusion of law. Motion for finding of fact.
Denied.
Under what law fact?
I made an oral ruling, sir. There's no requirement I do so in writing.
So you're denying a legal, you're denying a motion for finding of fact.
Damn.
So how do I know what you're doing is legal, Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Brooks, we're going to move forward.
This guy is off the chain. Like, if he had an attorney, he would know these things. Like, the attorney would know for him. So, you know, he really set himself up by representing himself. And again, thank you so much for watching. Now, I do want to just review my notes because I wrote down some things that really stood out for me today. And one thing, again, I mentioned earlier, his mother did not show up I'm not surprised. I don't blame her at all. But I'm wondering, will she show up when it's time, when they have like the victim impact statements, or I don't know if like they have people speak on behalf of the defendants, like I guess character, to speak to their character. But that'll be interesting to see if she just says anything at all. Let's see what else. So again, um, just really once she denied him the request with the car recall, it went downhill this morning, and he kept, he continues to mention this subject jurisdiction or subject matter jurisdiction. He mentions practically every day, and he did shut down today. He stopped answering her questions. She was asking him about if he wants to testify or not, basically advising him of his rights to testify, to not or not to testify, either way, and also to call witnesses. And what blew me away today, he said, "Oh, I have the right to remain silent." And I'm thinking, isn't it like Miranda rights when you talk about the right to remain silent? And I just didn't understand what that had to do with these court proceedings right now. So, he's mentioned Miranda rights. But again, I'm not a legal professional. Just interested. And so he was just not answering, saying he does not understand. I mean, he was such a knucklehead today. But what I really loved about the judge today is when, he kept saying, "I cannot hear, I do not understand, you muted, whatever, you got me muted." The judge brought the IT person, I guess the state, they brought the IT person and the sheriff's deputy to testify that Darrell Rose could hear in the adjacent courtroom. And I thought that was so brilliant of her. Like she's covering all bases. And I know that so many people are just saying a lot of negative things about the judge, like, "Oh, we need a male judge would be better. She's too soft." But I think she's doing an excellent job. Shouts out to her. And I like, girl, finish him, because that I thought that was so brilliant to bring them out. And the IT person, he showed he used his technical knowledge, technical expertise to prove that the sound quality is great over there. That Darrell Brooks is willfully ignoring the judge. He's just being a jerk, essentially. But he had a major meltdown today. He was throwing documents on the floor in the trash. He built a fort covering his face. So I'm gonna show y'all a clip of that. He was hollering at the judge. He cursed at her today, and this is crazy. And the judge, I toward the end, judge like she don't want to hear about those sovereign tactics. So that was funny. But let's see. Let's take a look at his little meltdown. Let's see if I can find it. I tried to write down my timestamps because I was watching this in real time and just trying to write down timestamps. So let's see what we got here. And they took a lot of breaks today. And then, of course, the jury went home early because, they really didn't need them today. So let's see.
Your right to testify, which includes the right to present evidence.
And just set this up, she's advising him of his rights, or trying to advise him of his right to testify or not.
As you would have testified, I closed I closed off your ability to call any other witnesses by finding that you forfeited your right to do so based upon your conduct. I understand you're frustrated. I understand you believe that I'm not without authority to do that. I made specific factual findings. I referenced the law, and you being upset with the decision is not going to change my mind. He's also taken the headphones off.
Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, just chilling. Good to see you this evening. But yeah, he's just like a big child. He has these meltdowns when he doesn't get his way. And it's not a good look. I don't think it's really helping him at all to have all these meltdowns. And I can get it at one point, one aspect, he's like, "Okay, I have nothing to lose," but I don't understand why he just won't just be chill, humble, like take accountability. I did this. I have to take whatever my punishment may be. It is what it is because I did do it. And just make this process easy for everyone. Like to me, it's like he's just re-victimizing the victims, if that makes sense. And I know his mother mentioned he has mental illness, so maybe it's not intentional. It does seem intentional, though. A lot of his antics seem very deliberate, very calculated. And he asked his Bible, but like, do you actually read this Bible? Do you believe the tenets, all the things that are in this Bible? Just being kind to your fellow man, just basic things. You're not displaying that during this trial. Like, I just don't understand why he this way. It's so disgusting. And who's to say how this is going to impact sentencing? I guess we'll see. We're about to see, but he just really needs to grow up, and he really needs help.
It's his choice right now whether he participates in this jury instruction conference. It is his choice. But if he is going to spout off about things that I've already determined, I will continue to exercise the mute function on the audio equipment. I'll unmute him again, but you are advised, sir, you need to be proper. You need to not interrupt, and you need to stay on task, which is we're discussing jury instructions, not other evidence, not subject matter jurisdiction, not your belief that I told you to file things a certain way. We are now discussing jury instructions. So once again, I'll unmute him to see if he can follow these simple rules.
You need to tell me why I can't present evidence.
So basically, she closed out the evidentiary phase of the trial because one, he was ignoring her, he wasn't answering her, or he was just, you know how he does, goes around, kind of circumvents the conversation to what he wants to talk about. So I love that she's just controlling the court. It's her court, and she's not allowing him to control anything. Like he thinks he's just going to delay. Disgusting behavior, if you ask me. So that's all his meltdown is about today, because she wouldn't allow him to question the I think it was an officer regarding the Ford escape, the recall, all that stuff. That's why he's at his pennies at the most today.
How can you deny me the fact? How can you deny me my right to present evidence?
Right,
I
I'll
told
mute
you
him once
before
again because he wants to
Can
continue.
you hear his tone? It's really nasty.
Again, I understand he's upset. I understand that. But he has himself to blame for his conduct this morning and the rulings that I've made. All right, so let's go through these jury instructions. First of all, has the state received a copy of the draft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you acknowledge receipt? I believe you did by acknowledging it previously, but do you acknowledge receipt of the draft of the final jury instructions?
I don't acknowledge nothing, and I don't acknowledge anything now. I have not received anything.
I would ask the bailiff to pick up the documents from the floor and put them in front of him.
And I'm not presenting it to nothing I don't give my consent to. You can't deny me the right to put on a defense. How can you tell me when I done stated?
I'm gonna read it once again, because again, I understand he's upset. If the bailiff could confirm, well, he put him on top, he put him on the floor. That's
You
his.
saw the bailiff gave him the documents. He put him back on the floor. He is such a child. He's saying he doesn't consent. He doesn't understand. Like, what in the entire hell? This is so ridiculous.
Is right. They're not in front of him, but it's by his own conduct that he's done that. The record should reflect Mr. Brooks is muted because he wants to continue to debate with this court about my prior rulings regarding his forfeiture by conduct of his right to present further evidence on his behalf. I know one of the things I probably need to look at, I'm not sure if Madam Clerk did this or not, would be the language from the amendment from the amended information on count 70.
And it does seem like for the rest of the day, they were pretty much, I guess, explaining in layman terms best as I can, I guess, preparing for the jury, what they need to do with the jury tomorrow. I think making sure everything is correct, grammatically correct. And then the jury are going to get their instructions tomorrow. I think the judge mentioned the document she has to read to them. It's over 100 pages. And she did say tomorrow's going to be a long day. He has this Bible. He doesn't read it clearly.
I don't want to do that. Oh, you do? I changed, hold on. 76. The 76 count. Just want to make. It says near Frame Park, so it is in there. But that was just one question I had. All right. So state, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
I'm just going through each one. I'm on page 50 of 107. Everything's looking great so far.
Okay. Fair enough. There's 107 pages. I certainly can give the parties some time to continue to read
And
through them.
I want to show you all, like, look here. He's actually like building a fort. He's covering it. He doesn't want the judge to see his face. He is so childish. He's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I don't want to do that. Oh, you do? I changed, hold on. 76. The 76 count. Just want to make. It says near Frame Park, so it is in there. But that was just one question I had. All right. So state, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
I'm just going through each one. I'm on page 50 of 107. Everything's looking great so far.
Okay. Fair enough. There's 107 pages. I certainly can give the parties some time to continue to read through them.
So he's covered. Look at this. He's built like a little fort, a little hut. He's covering himself. Like, he's so ridiculous. This guy's so ridiculous. So ridiculous right now.
Mr. Brooks is requesting to go back to his cell. At this point, I'm going to deny that request. He can remain in the other courtroom.
He's such a child. He's such a child. It looks like he's fussing right there. So he was fussing. She muted him a lot today. So any other times than this. Let's see. And then he was really rude to Paige today. He was really rude to her. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that. And I have one more clip because, like, for the most part, it was just the judge and the state preparing for tomorrow. I am excited about tomorrow, and he did curse at the judge. So I want to show this, and then I'll wrap things up.
And make decisions based on what you
But it's
think
like
I said when I didn't.
It's like, y'all can let me know what y'all think, but it's like he's scolding her like she's a little girl.
Related to the jury instructions, sir.
Yeah, I got requests. It ain't like they gonna be honest though.
As it relates to the jury instructions, sir, what are your?
I heard what the hell you said, man.
Well, Mr. Brooks, that was very disrespectful.
Yeah, and I didn't get disrespected since the beginning of this whole process. So welcome to the club.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any
I'm
requests?
tired of my way to get trying around here too. I'm tired of it too.
Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
Ain't nobody understand why I'm frustrated. How you gonna sit up here and make decisions based on what you think I said when I didn't get consent for you to do any such thing?
But the thing is, he wasn't answering her questions. So he wasn't directly answering her questions. But you see, now he circles back and say, well, I didn't get to make a decision. But when she was asking him, he was ignoring her, saying, I don't understand. Just, being difficult, defiant, stubborn.
So I understand you may be upset, and I really do, but I've made my determinations.
You don't understand nothing. You don't understand anything, Your Honor. You don't.
I'm going to mute him again because he's not answering the questions that I'm very clearly asking him, and I've given him 5 opportunities. Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? I'll unmute you for that answer.
I can't hear everything you're saying.
Wow. Look at him, like a little kid. Wow, having a temper tantrum.
Mr. Brooks, I know the audio's turned up. I believe you can hear me.
Wow.
You've chosen not to put the headphones on. That's your choice. My final question to you, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
I just told you, am I muted?
No.
He's getting attitude with the bailiffs.
I just told you, I don't know how many times, I can't hear everything you say.
Then you should put the headphones on.
Don't you understand?
Wow.
What about that don't you understand? Did you see headphones? You can see everything. You can see boxes. But did you see headphones?
Have you asked for headphones to be provided, sir?
I should have to ask for them. I asked for my boxes to be moved.
I believe
Wow, he is such a little. This guy is so ridiculous.
they took them away previously because you were so agitated. They were perhaps afraid you might break them.
I'm still agitated. I ain't gonna stop being agitated. That ain't gonna stop. You sit up here and do everything you're doing and think God don't see what you're doing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury
Yeah,
instructions?
I can hear what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying.
You just told me you didn't. So which one is
Yeah, I
it?
got the headphones on. You can't see that?
What are your requests as it relates? What are your requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir?
Wow, I just don't understand this guy. It took 6 lives, harmed over 60 people to have the audacity to behave in this manner, and has the nerve to say God sees what she's doing.
Man,
like God didn't see what he did. I'm blown away. Blown away.
I'm gonna get where I'm going. Trying to put on this little act like you so worried about what's going on with me. You don't give a damn. Never did.
Mr. Brooks, you're being disrespectful again.
He's cursing.
You've been being disrespectful. You've been being disrespectful.
I need to know what your position is regarding the jury instructions. And I need to know it now.
What do you mean? Who you talking to?
I'm talking to you. I need to know whether you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir.
Yeah, first of all, why am I charged with 2 bail jumpers when I was already charged in Milwaukee for the same bail jumping? That's double jeopardy.
It's not double jeopardy. Your objection is noted. It's overruled.
Wow.
It is double jeopardy. How you gonna charge me with the same charge that I'm already charged with? You can't do that. The Fifth Amendment says that you can't place somebody in jeopardy of life and limb. Twice. I'm already charged with the same count in Milwaukee. For the same case. It's the same bail jumping charge. So how am I charged with that here?
Sir, I'm not going to provide a legal explanation other than to say I've reviewed that. Your objection is noted, but the jury will be instructed regarding the bail jumping.
It can't be because that's double jeopardy. Under the law, if two charges are identical in nature, you cannot place me in jeopardy of life and limb twice. You can't do that.
What's your next?
The same case number.
What's your next request, sir? I'm noting your.
He's just so upset. Poor baby. He's so upset. And I just don't understand why he's so upset considering what he did. You know, I just don't understand why this guy refuses to take accountability for his behavior.
Sure.
He just refuses to. So let's see. Show more video. One more clip. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. He gave the judge the evil eye again today. Let me find that timestamp. Let's see. Look how he's looking right now. Look how he's looking. Gave her a stare down. He's still looking like that. Like, that's kind of creepy. That's creepy. Let's see, is there anything else I thought was interesting toward the end? But yeah, toward the end, he was just trying to wave, waving. He was waving his arms, trying to get her attention because the judge muted him a lot today. But overall, I would say it's nice to see this trial begin to come to an end. I imagine it's very difficult for the judges to state all the DAs, state attorneys, everyone involved, the victims, their families. I imagine this has been very difficult. And hopefully, once it's come to an end, they can begin a healing process. This guy, I just don't understand the audacity to behave the way he does, considering what he has done. I really don't understand that. I really don't. And the disrespect, I just don't get it. But he was talking really crazy to the judge today.
Before I address all of those, are there any of those final type of issues, sir, that you would want the court to address? You have been unmuted, so you can answer that.
Again, he's ignoring the judge.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any of those final type of questions or issues that you want the court to address? You are unmuted. I am.
I just told you I'm not. Since nothing I say even matters at this point. I'm just gonna tell the jury what they need to know. I'm just gonna tell them the truth.
Mr. Brooks, you are aware that your closing arguments have to be based on law and fact, correct?
They gonna be based on whatever I'll base them on.
Do you think he can say and do whatever he wants to do?
Well, I trust the state will object when appropriate,
Well,
if
It's gonna be
appropriate.
a whole lot of objection then, because I'm gonna tell the truth. You haven't allowed, you just been making all the decisions for me. Even though you know, I told you repeatedly that I don't understand, and you still make decisions based on my behalf without my consent.
But he wouldn't answer her questions. Like he cannot, he
I
can't,
mean,
how to say, he can't not answer the questions. Like he's being so difficult.
I'm telling you, I don't understand, and you still make a decision determining my life.
Are you telling me, sir, that you will refuse to follow the simple rules of decorum, courtesy, civility, the rules of evidence, and
Don't try to
the
come with
rules
those
of
sweet words.
procedure?
Don't try to come with those sweet words and don't put words in my mouth.
Sir, I am not being slick. I'm trying to
You've
preserve the
been
integrity.
slick. You've been slick.
All right, I'm gonna mute you, sir, since
This guy is such a clown.
what you are saying is not productive. It is not courteous. It is disrespectful. I
See, he put those papers on the ground again.
I need to go over these. All right, I'm muting him because I need to go over these.
So he doesn't care. He doesn't care what she says. So like today, it was just a lot of him being a big baby. So yeah, my thoughts, this guy, he's really pathetic. I think he's really going outside. I think there's a better way for him to handle this case. I mean, he did it, so the audacity to try to get the case, like to try to, he keeps wanting her to find him in contempt of court or mistrial, all these things. Like, dude, you did it. You're going to prison. Take your sentence. Take your punishment like a man. You know, that's, to me, that seems simple, but I know you cannot reason with the unreasonable, right? So that's all I have. I just wanted to continue my recap. I know I kind of caught on late, but I was watching. I said, let me connect with my YouTube family and we can talk about this together. So let me know what you thought about today's proceedings. You know, what stood out to you? Any aha moments? What are you hoping for to happen? Please like the stream, like the video, subscribe, leave any comments, suggestions below. And then to the next one later. Have a great day.